You're listening to a main feed episode. Go to patreon.com/Celtic Ligers where €5 a month gets you weekly full-length episodes, stray bonus content and access to the back catalogue. Also helps cover hosting and gives us money for sweeties. Thank you. Celtic Ligers.
Recorded 10th of September 2025 before Charlie Kirk got one in the neck, so you'll have to wait until next week or listen to Americans Pick That Bone Clean. Really, what is there to say? He was one of 100 right-wing grifters who contributed to making the toxic America that killed him. As a piece of media covering Irish politics, I resent even knowing his name, never mind that it was an item on the 6-1 news. Rest in peace.
What's this episode going to be about? Huh? Actually, there's a lot of stuff has happened. So, but anyway, we could get to that. We'll get to
it. Yeah. What has happened?
What have you been burning to talk about?
I watched a documentary there.
Oh yeah.
Let me get the woman's name up. It's a good name.
Good name.
I went to the IFI to see this. Maybe I'll just guess her name. How does that sound? Just guess it?
Yeah. Why not?
Her name was Margot anyway. Margot documentary maker, Dublin. And if that doesn't work, I give up. Margot Harkin. Have you ever heard of her?
No. What's the documentary about?
And also, she's not from Dublin. She's from Derry.
I didn't say that.
So, it is unusual that her name's Margot.
Yeah.
That's a rare out Dublin name.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought about Margot Martindale. Or I thought it was French.
Who's that? Who's Margot Martindale?
She is a character actor in the United States on television.
Let me look her up.
She's in BoJack Horseman playing herself.
Margot Nightingale.
Martindale.
Oh yeah, I know her.
Yeah.
I feel like she always plays characters who appear happy at the start and then at the end you realise they're very sad.
Yeah. Or she plays kind of imposing matriarch figures.
Yeah. Who appear happy at the start and then by the mid you realise that they're imposing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
She makes you loads of dinner and you're like, this is great. And then when you don't want to eat it, she's like, you have to eat it.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's perfect. Yeah.
Eat the dinner. It was about the mother and child homes.
Okay.
The documentary. Those things are so much more every time you hear anything new about them, it's just like,
yeah,
how could they get any more nightmarish? And then it's like, oh, this is how.
Yeah.
This was brutal.
Yeah.
I was crying.
Yeah.
I've never cried in the cinema, and I cried watching this. And there was one, and it was literally like a horror film, paced like a horror film.
Yeah.
Where there's this woman, she gets pregnant outside of marriage, and then she flees to London, and you're like, okay, she's in London, she's safe now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're literally, because you've heard a couple of stories, and you're like, finally, she's safe.
Yeah,
you know. And then she's talking to the social worker, and the social worker is like, where are you from? The whole story, and then apparently on the file that she wrote PFI, which stands for Pregnant from Ireland. And then in a couple of days later, she so she was in the hospital for a check, and then a couple of days later she's at home, and a priest comes to the door and literally just like grabs her by the arm and forces her on a flight to Ireland. And I was like, you're in England.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so like that's literally like something out of a horror film.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
No, I know. It's the whole thing just gives you a big pit in your stomach of just like, yeah. I don't know how to put it into words. I just as, yeah. How does it happen? How does it happen? How do they how do they get away with it? How do they continue to get away with it? Like, how is the Criminal Assets Bureau not showing up and just taking everything out of those, out of the church, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the records
like,
are sealed and the stuff that keeps happening on behalf of the church in this country. And
obviously the last mother and baby home closed on 96, but then they're still popular or like common in the 80s. So like there were loads of politicians who are currently sitting, like Micheál Martin, who definitely knew what it was going on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, why is he still allowed to be in office when it's like, to me that's just like having one of the Nazis in your party. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you can't do this because you were part of the Nazis.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't do this because you were in power or like a politician and your party was in power and they were locking women up for being pregnant.
Yeah.
It's like, how's that party still allowed to exist? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there were other stories like, there's one where the nuns made all the heavily pregnant women do like Irish dancing at Christmas, like an Irish dancing show to humiliate. You know, it was like real. I remember I saw a show and you know that film 120 Days of Sodom or whatever it's called? Sorry, you know that thing?
I know of it, yeah. I haven't seen it.
But it's like, it's 2 hours or whatever length it is of like the most insanely sadistic sexual torture of these children, you know? And then there's this theatre maker and he got a text from the Ryan Report and he put it over the film. Like he redubbed it.
Yeah.
Like it sounds crap, but then it's like the stuff they were doing in these schools was as bad as the film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you watch the film, you're like, that could never happen. And like it's too grotesquely over the top.
Yeah.
And then you hear the Ryan Report and it's like, no, they did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they abuse them and then they like abuse them for their own pleasure. You know?
I was also thinking about how Richard Boyd Carrot and Joan Burton are both children from mother and baby homes.
The fact that Joan Burton is crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
But imagine that like you're in a government and like I don't know anything about it. I'm just like I read some tweets online, okay?
Yeah.
That were intimating things about Micheál Martin's time as mayor in Cork, okay?
Yeah, like one of the bigger ones is in Cork.
Yeah. And, you know, you hear all these stories, these ones that are very well documented about, like, these laundries, the ones in Galway in particular, where women would try to leave and then they would get to the bus station and then the guards would just come pick them up and bring them back. And,
yeah,
you know, it was just like the state was in cahoots with the church to keep these women imprisoned for, you know, just being pregnant. Just basically the crime of being women, you know? But anyway, all of that is that like, that was happening as recently as the 70s, okay? And the 80s, maybe even into the... when was the last mother and baby homes closed?
96.
96. So, like, Micheál Martin was, like, you were a mayor of a city like Cork, okay? And it's particularly Fianna Fáil. It's like, you know and are aware that stuff like that is happening. And then we only need to look further than to what happens when he is Taoiseach, then when the mother and baby home records are sealed.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, it's just.
And he made this. He made the speech where he was like, "Oh, we're all to blame."
Yeah, and we're like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think, you know, if you were, you remember the other thing that we talk about all the time is when the guards show up to an illegal eviction and they don't need to be told to attack the tenants to, you know, like they just know. It comes as instinct. So if you're a Fianna Fáil politician who came of age during that time, okay, it's like, oh yeah, protect the church just by default. Just that's what it is, okay? He just does that. Yeah. That's what he is. And to know that he's part of that lineage and he is that type of person, and then you are somebody who's gone through those homes, and then you guys say to somebody like, you know, you're failing the people of Ireland. What are you, Richard Boyle Carr? Sit down. This is nonsense. This is... Yeah. Imagine. I don't know. It's just... The mind boggles, you know. It's the stuff that happened up north where, you know, that one, I saw that No Stone Unturned, the Loughlin Island massacre documentary made by Alex Gibney, and then they basically credibly, they think it's this guy. It's never going to be officially confirmed, but everybody knows it's this guy who carried out the massacre, and it turned out he just lives up the road like the entire time. All this time he's like, and they were talking about, I'm walking past him every day, you know, I have to see this guy every day. Anyway, it's just that, it's like just these people walk amongst us, the wardens, you know.
But like they're still in hell, you know what I mean? The one thing, Micheál Martin just lived down the road. It's another thing that is on my TV every day.
Yeah.
Scowling when he's trying to look happy.
I do think that this is a good time. It seems a bit clunky to say, but like to bring up Jim Gavin and just the way that Micheál Martin has carried out being Taoiseach and being like, this is happening. I'm doing things, and it's like, I don't care whether you like them. You can fuck off. You know, like all the stuff that he's done. You know, with the triple lock and with the what was the one with. What was the fucking thing that he did? You know, why is this word escaping me now? Rent pressure zones. Nationalizing rent pressure zones. All of these things which people are like, please don't do this. And he's like, I'm fucking doing it.
In fairness, with the rent pressure zones, they did a deft maneuver. Do you remember when they were like, you know, we're going to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And then people are like, please don't get rid of them.
Yeah.
And then, all right, the whole island is rent pressure.
Yeah.
Happy? That's why you want it, isn't it? Do you get that sense of Jim Gavin? I thought Jim Gavin was like, you all like football, don't you?
Well, yesterday, basically, he got voted in, and somebody said, I don't know, internal Fianna Fáil stuff, but Billy Kelleher ran. Billy Kelleher is a fucking, like, nutty bar. He is insane. You know that one who did, he's like a loyal stalwart for the Fianna Fáil party. And so they were like, Jim Gavin is going to be the guy. Jim Gavin, who is he? Oh, he's the manager of Dublin. Okay, what relationship does he have to Fianna Fáil? You're voting for him. Shut up. Okay. So then somebody was saying if there were more than 20 votes against Jim Gavin, that's a failure for the Fianna Fáil party. 29 votes against Jim Gavin. Okay.
Really?
Apparently, like, basically, what is it? They have like 80 people, 80 TDs or something. I don't know what it is. But anyway, the point is that like just under half of the amount of TDs in the party don't agree with the direction that Micheál Martin has taken it. And then you're like, why is Jim Gavin the guy? And then he comes on telly and then he goes, basically like, you know, they're like, how did you vote in the referenda? And he's like, well, trust me, I voted the way that you wanted me to vote, okay? So whatever way you wanted me to vote in those referendums, those are the way that I voted, okay? And we don't know anything about them. We don't know anything politically. One thing that was revealed in an interview with David McCullough is that Fine Gael also approached him to run for their party. Jim Gavin.
There are 48 TDs in the Dáil.
Yeah.
So that means over half of them voted against, is it?
29.
29 voted.
29 voted. Let me look it up.
Against. I was hoping Bertie would get it.
Yeah, did you see somebody saw Bertie and they ran over to him with like a camera phone and they were like, "What happened? Why didn't you get it?" And he was like, "Micheál Martin," just like says directly to
really?
Bertie pulled out a presidential election. What was the reason?
Micheál Martin.
Micheál Martin. Jesus. Yeah, years around here waffling. You know that?
Didn't have sport.
If you ever stop waffling, you might get some walk on Bertie, huh? You're a waffler.
I told you about the fella. One time I came home when I was living in the Liberties. My front door was wide open. There's a guy standing naked in my kitchen. I told you about that, didn't I? And he was like, I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And then he turned around and waved, and then my housemate came down the stairs, and he was like, "Oh, Skip pissed himself when we were driving home, so he had to get changed." And then he was like, "Tell him who you met. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I met Bertie Ahern." And he was like, apparently he was taking a piss and against a wall.
Yeah.
And then he saw Bertie Ahern and he was so surprised that he, like, I don't know, seemed to manage to get it all down his leg, the leg of his trousers. Which doesn't explain why he's completely naked. But there's photographic evidence of this. He went over to Bertie Ahern and said, "Can I have a photo?" And there is a photo. It's like, that's why I was surprised Bertie didn't win.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's no other politician who, if a guy with piss dripping down his leg came over and said, "Can I have a selfie?" We'll go like, "Yes."
Yeah, like he needed the backing of the party. And to be honest, if they had selected him, he would have won. Bertie Ahern would have won the presidency.
Yeah.
I just believe that. And the fact is that Micheál Martin is like, "I don't care what you want. And I'm not coming back for a second go with the leadership. So I'm just going to try and leave the party molded in the way that I like it." You know, you install Jack Chambers, make him the new guy. Jim Gavin is coming in.
I think Jack Chambers is going to be fucked when Micheál Martin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be like that episode of Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah.
That I've often talked about.
Yeah,
where the son keeps sucking up to, what's his name?
Ramsey. Yeah.
He's like, "Yes, sir. My dad doesn't know how to run this place."
Yeah.
And it's at the end, and Gordon Ramsay's walking out the door, and you can see the son just being like, "Oh shit! Like, what have I done? Daddy's gone."
But David McCullough was interviewing Jim Gavin, and then Jim Gavin is like, "Yeah, no, I want to get rid of the triple lock." This guy who had absolutely no opinions when asked about anything, like same as the last time, not asked about anything meaningful. "What did you vote in the last few referendums? What are your opinions on things?" "Look, we'll get to that later." Then gets in and goes, "Yeah, I want to get rid of the triple lock." You're like, you didn't say that. Why are you saying that now? What the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, because they know that you can't run on that. And I love now if this presidential election became a referendum on the triple lock, essentially, because I suddenly had this vision in my head about like, oh, we're getting rid of the triple lock without having carried out an actual referendum. We're going to bring it to Michael D. I genuinely think Michael D would not sign that thing, and it would create some sort of parliamentary crisis, and that Catherine Connolly is a continuation of that and would be like, "I'm not signing this either until there's been some sort of So then they're kind of going, here's Jim Gavin. He's the guy who will sign that piece of paper when we get it in front of him. Do you know?
Yeah, that's it, with an X.
Yeah.
I believe Ireland has been very strong in terms of what's happening in Gaza. It's unconscionable what's happening at the moment. It's unconscionable that we have a man-made famine in 2025. It's unconscionable that the bombing is still taking place when I would believe that the military objectives probably have been reached for that campaign, that military campaign.
It's so mad that he definitely didn't know what the triple lock was.
I don't think he knows about anything. Like, he just the fact is that he goes like, yeah, no, I went for Fianna Fáil. I guess is because FG. It's just like, I didn't like the fact that it was like another letter. I like it when it's the same letter, like FF. So I didn't want to do FG.
It's like football.
Yeah, exactly. It's my two favorite. F is my favorite letter because it reminds me of football. And I saw it there twice and I was like, those are the guys. Football.
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about football. But apparently he's a very good football manager.
There are some people going to be fucking screaming at you, all right? I guarantee. Because they go like, oh yeah, he led Dublin to All-Ireland success 7 times in a row. It's like, if you are successful 7 times in a row, it's nothing that you're doing, okay?
No, it is.
Okay.
It's, first of all, it's genetic stock you're working with. Bears County the rest. Second of all, you're good at your job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you're a jockey...
Yeah.
The horse does most of the work, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that jockey does something. I don't know what. Whips the horse, maybe.
I'm also thinking we were just watching, I don't know if you've seen this, but we were watching like a new episode of Kitchen Nightmares, a 2-parter.
I've never heard of it.
Isn't that insane?
You were saying that he seemed angrier than you've ever seen him.
Well, you know the way he's usually like, I've eaten here, what is this? This one, he's like walking around the kitchen and he's like, what is this? Like, he's like disturbed at what he's seeing.
Why?
There's just like...
Is it American or English?
Oh, it's American. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. So they have the like...
No,
noise.
because it's new. They took out the re noise in the new episodes. I don't know why.
I love that. No, it's like a chicken dish.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what is this? Cut to the chicken dish. Oh, now I'm scared of it.
No, they've taken out that noise. And the other thing that he used to do a lot, he used to like, he would come out and he would address the camera. Tonight was a disaster. I'm hoping that she figures it out. What he would do is he would pound his fist into his palm for emphasis. And he stopped doing that as well.
I know it's well-worn territory, but I love the differences between the British and the American one.
Yeah.
And part of it is like, in Ireland and even in Britain, there's just a slight interest in wordplay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas in white America, that does not exist.
Yeah.
So like, on the English show, he'd be like, this is like a, something like a chocolate kettle or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when he goes to America, that's like a thing.
Yeah.
In America, like, he's known to be like an incredibly creative insult.
Yeah.
Like, guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like Simon Cowell and that stuff as well. It's like, this is like dog shit. And then they're like, whoa, shit, like specifically from a dog? How does he come up with it?
Yeah. You're looking like a dog's breakfast.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. So what was the restaurant like?
Oh, there's another thing I would say. Was we watched another episode where I can't remember where it was. I think it was in Washington D.C. or was it? Let's say Texas, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's in some like some place where there's just strip malls, as the Americans call them, for far as the eye can see, and it's like John and Janet have opened up a British themed restaurant. So they basically were trying to have like a gastropub, but in the middle of like an industrial estate in like fucking Ohio, you know?
Yeah.
And so he comes in and they're like completely, but one of the owners is English. And I was like, oh, here we go. The funny thing, I just wanted to observe this because it was like, this episode, it became like an English version of the show, surprisingly. Because usually like, I was a cop for 40 years. Now I decided that I'm going to open up my own restaurant, even though I got no experience. I'm about $2 million in the hole. I don't know what I don't know what's going wrong. And then they'll show a picture of him, and like the only time he comes in is to eat like a plate of spaghetti in the middle of rush hour, you know? And then
like the whole restaurant works off a microwave.
Yeah. And they take all of his he takes all of the tips as well, and like he's like crying about how, like, you know, I don't know what's going wrong. It's like, well, you're these guys are like, they're told like, oh, I'll just get a restaurant and then I guess that'll make me money somehow. They have this idea that like the income is going to be so passive off of this baby, I won't have to show up at all. And then they're horrified when it turns out it's actually very difficult to own a restaurant or a cafe. And they have to be explained like basic things all the time. But anyway, what ends up usually happening is they come in, Ramsay comes in and he goes, what is this? You keep your bacon on the floor? It should be in the fridge. And he's like, maybe you keep the bacon in the fridge in your house, Chef Ramsay, but in my house, we always kept it on the floor. And then by the end of it, he's like, and I hope next time I come back, I won't see bacon on the floor. No, you won't, Chef Ramsay, you won't. You know, like, Chef Ramsay changed my life. He made me realize that I got a drinking problem. And then, of course, you like check the restaurant and it's like shut down a year later. Like not even, like, or a week later. Like not even sometimes, you know? Or like the 68-page menu comes back the next fucking day, you know? Like,
they always bring the giant menu back, you know? People just wanted it.
Yeah. But like, what ends up happening with the English one is he goes, you fucking idiot, you fucking worm. And they go, yes, sorry. And then you like check, they follow all of his advice. And then you check back and it's like, oh, now they're a Michelin star restaurant or something. Like they always, there was one that we watched and it was like, the chef was like friends with the owner, and then the owner was like, oh, I'd like to go up and do my little jazz numbers. And then he's like, you're fucking ruining this restaurant. This guy's coming in, he's trying to tell you what to do, and you're not fucking listening. And then he like, I listened to Chef Ramsay, and you know, hopefully things will get better. We check back on him 10 years later, the restaurant is still open. You know, and all of the changes that the chef that Ramsay made are still there, because it was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, if it ain't broke, you know, it's like just that anyway. Yeah. So the point is that these guys who own this gastro pub in like Phoenix, Arizona, you know, they're like, yes, chef, sorry, chef, change the menu. Look, checked in on them. It's been like a year or two, I think, and their restaurant's like still has the same shit that Ramsay left them with, and they seem to be doing pretty well. I don't know, but anyway, I just thought that was a funny one. But yeah, this one was the reason this one was so bad is. I mean, I think the worst thing that happened in it is while they were serving somebody, there was literally a cockroach on the wall in the dining area. Okay? And then they were like, she won't pay for anything in the restaurant, so we have to use the grease for like months, you know?
Right.
For like, and everything's deep fried and most of the stuff is frozen. And it was that sort of stuff, but like he was... I don't know why it needed to be two
parts.
Yeah, but it was anyway. What was the one though? Why did I bring that up in relation to Jim Gavin at all?
I don't think you did. I think you were just talking about it.
I just got excited talking about Kitchen Nightmares. I forgot about it.
Yeah, such a good show. It's a surprisingly good show.
People, by the way, have on Twitter, they just started noticing something that we noticed on this podcast in late 2023, I think, where...
what?
Do you remember we were talking about Amy's Bakery and how the one restaurant which he, you know, I think there's probably more now, but like the one restaurant he couldn't save was Amy's Bakery. And the episode is unusually structured because most of it is made up of, you know, the way they take like B-roll of like an average night in the restaurant before Gordon Ramsay gets there. Most of the episode is made up of that because it went so insane, where like the guy came out and started like screaming in the face of a customer and threatened to call the cops, and like all this stuff was happening, and like the guy was they were both mental, and they both started reamed Gordon out of it, and then he's like, all right, I'll just leave, fuck it. Anyway, the owners of those places were Israeli. And people are like, oh, it's so funny how like they've always been like this. This is from like 2008, and it's like it used to be that Israel had such image control that like they were kind of some of us are a little cranky, you know, like that episode of The Simpsons where Sacha Baron Cohen plays an Israeli, and it's like it's just that Israeli sense of humor where they're sort of barking orders at you and talking about how great Israel is, but like it's just kind of a character quirk. And then after the past 2 years, people are like, you're all unhinged psychopaths who literally like lunge at people if you see a keffiyeh, you know?
Yeah. Did you see Vonderland came out? Like, this is how bad the image control is. Vonderland came out, and obviously she's not going to do this, but she like floated the idea of some sort of trade punishment on Israel.
Yeah.
And that's Vonderland saying that.
Yeah.
They're like Nazi Israel bloodlust supporter.
They keep, we were talking about this with the church, but it did come to mind with Israel that they keep upping the ante of things that I'm like, I cannot believe that they're doing that and they're getting away with it. But when they bombed Qatar, like,
sorry, it's von der Leyen proposes suspending EU trade deal with Israel.
Yeah, any day now.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Any year. Yeah, bombing Qatar was wild.
It was just like, but they did it. Oh yeah, no, they bombed it once. Sorry, I was like, they bombed it twice, and I was like, no, they bombed the flotilla twice with bringing the aid, and I was like, so they bombed now at this point Lebanon. Sorry,
yeah, it's like the 6th country they bombed this year.
Yeah, it's
Lebanon, Syria,
Palestine, where Iran,
Qatar,
where else? There's one other country.
There was Afghanistan.
Yeah, we already said. Who knows?
Iran?
Anywhere. Fucking
Iran. Did we say Iran?
I said Iran. Yeah.
Iraq.
I think they might have bombed. No, I don't think so. But it is crazy that they just like bomb everywhere with complete impunity. And then this time they bombed. They were like, yeah, we were trying to kill Hamas. I was like, who were sitting down for peace negotiations? Yeah, well, I don't know. I think they just whatever. I don't have anything to say on it. It's just like, I'm kind of like, you read something like that and you're like, what is there anything that they will be too much for the international community? You know?
Yeah.
Like, and then she's like, oh, we're really thinking about not doing a deal with them. You're thinking about not doing a deal with them. Why? We're 2 years into this. Why is this an option?
Yeah.
Why is this? Do you want points for that? You want points for thinking about not doing something?
So they've bombed 5 countries.
Okay.
Still a lot.
Still loads. But yeah, I wanted to. There was headlines this morning that I just then wanted to, because they're
and the flotilla. I mean, the flotilla has like loads of nationalities on it.
Mm-hmm.
Ireland, Limerick.
Yeah. So Limerick. Nisha Dolan is on it. Paul Murphy's on it.
Yemen. They bombed Yemen.
Bombed Yemen. Yeah. Okay. 6. Cool. So Nisha Dolan's on it. Ty Hickey, Paul Murphy, Liam Cunningham. Okay, 4 Irish people already right there who are of some renown. Okay, are on that flotilla, like on the flotilla, and then they firebombed it. Then in the Tunisian port, then they're getting it ready to go out again. Firebombed it again. Okay.
Yeah.
And the way I just wanted to read out the way that RTE reported on this. Okay, I know it's really hack now at this. Activists say second boat attacked by suspected drone. There's no...
Like, you can hear the drone in the video, first off.
And then here's another one. Here's another headline from this morning. I just want to get this up. Where was it? Sorry. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I don't have this. Well, it was. I just thought that it would be there, but it's been pushed down the live thing, you know.
You're like a bloody dog's breakfast.
I'll edit this out. You're like a bloody tart's drawers.
Yeah. Messy. Yeah. You're messy as a tart.
Well, anyway, what it was Russian drones invade Polish airspace, says Donald Tusk. And I was like, That's a lot more pointed than saying activists say that there is that aid was firebombed into Gaza, you know? And I was like, why are you...
I know. Like, what would that look like if RT were reporting on us? It would be like accusations of drones flying over different
routes. It says
routes.
Activists. Like, there's no active... So, like, Russian drones invade Polish airspace, says Tusk. So Tusk is at the end of that. Whereas in the one for the flotilla, activists say... So they're at the start of it. Which activists? We don't specify.
Yeah.
They say that a second boat was attacked by a suspected drone. Okay? So, like... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want the story to be? Well, the story is that me in RTE think Russia is invading Poland, okay? So I'm going to find a thing that Donald Tusk has said, and I'm going to be like, Russia, because I can't say that Russian drones have invaded because, I don't know, I guess it's libelous. I'm not sure how this works, but
I'm just some
so what they're going to say is they're going to be like, we'll take that quote so that we can run with the headline, Russian drones invade Poland, okay? And then at the end, it'll be Donald Tusk, the expert. Whereas when you say, activists say a second boat attack, it kind of is almost like, first of all, we don't know where it happened, who did it, what activists, what are you talking about? But also like, well, the activists say that this happened. You know, it's not like...
Yeah, I know. I was talking to this guy from New York yesterday. He came to a reading group, and afterwards we were in the pub, and he was like, you know, in New York, we all love the Irish because of, like, everyone on the left loves them because of how they stand up for Palestine. And I was like, I need you to understand. Like, obviously, I was a bit friendlier than this, but I was like, I need you to understand that we don't deserve that. Like, and I was really trying to explain to him how, like, our whole economy was based on foreign direct investment from America. So that made the government extremely unhappy that they had to say anything about Israel at all. And it really, like, blew his mind. You know what I mean? It's funny when you meet Americans and they don't understand that they're, like, I suppose because everyone denies it, but, like, they're so at the center of, like, the Western universe. You know what I mean? So I was like, when you go back to New York, please explain that. Ireland don't deserve the praise. You know?
About when that thing happened, Russian drones invade Polish airspace. Micheál Martin, Simon Harris, they're straight out the gate going, this is disgraceful, this is an escalation, we need to do something about it. That 4 Irish people who were on a flotilla that is being firebombed by the Israelis doesn't warrant anybody saying anything, okay?
Yeah. And, like, obviously the Irish people, it seems, are incredibly on the side of Palestine, which is good to see. I was saying that to him as well, but, like, has Simon Harris said anything about the bombing of the flotilla?
I'll look it up, but I doubt it. I mean, he definitely hasn't said anything about Kitty O'Brien, so...
Yeah, we were talking about that. You said, do you think he'd say anything? And I said no, and you said you thought he was going to rise to the occasion.
I think he's a brave man, and he's going through a lot with... Like, I'm going to say here, like, this is a controversial take, okay? And nobody's family should be threatened, okay? But when he is milking the shit out of that.
Well, I told my dad about this, and, you know, I agree with him. He was like, every politician gets abuse, right? And the smart thing to do, particularly if the abuse is at your family, is just to, it's like the thing with you don't rise to it. You know what I mean? You, like, make sure you're well secured, you look after your family, but you don't go on the news and go like, this has really rattled me, you know? Because that's a great way to, like, escalate the abuse. It's like, the whole thing has been Harris being like, this is the worst day of my life, but I bravely told you wrong.
Yeah.
If I was, like, one of the far right, I'd be like, oh, it's working. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would also see that as evidence that he's actually, like, I'm going to say this is me, my opinion, that he's actually not that rattled. I think that if you were in a position of power in Ireland, you, or anybody, you know, you get like death threats and the guards have to respond and you have paid security and all this sort of shit. But the thing is, at this moment, because of all the scrutiny that he's receiving for his horrible handling of scoliosis with children, okay?
Yeah.
He now is like going like, okay, you can come after me all you want, but leave my family out of this. And it's like you keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that you're bringing, like, it genuinely feels like he is doing it to deflect. Do I want his family to be threatened? No.
Yeah.
Do I think it comes with the territory of being an incredibly unpopular politician? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it just fucking does. But like, and another thing I'll say is like, they go like Helen McEntee was asked about it and she goes, yeah, we have been very slow to respond to this sort of abuse, which was at least a more admirable thing to say, because I was thinking like, where was this with Paul Murphy? You didn't give a fuck.
No.
Like Paul Murphy had people outside his house threatening to break in. Okay.
Yeah, but you know that they think that like Paul Murphy deserves it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like they do, like, sure, the fucking George Hook, you know, he's like, oh, now you know how Joan Burton felt. And then the Irish Independent quoted him so that they could write an article about how, like, basically, oh, get over it, you big fucking baby.
Yeah, I think there's a belief with, like, Fine Gael. I mean, they really, I know she was hilariously unqualified. You know, what's her name? Joanne Walsh? The weather reporter? Is that her name?
No, it's not, but I can't remember her name. Who was it? She was so funny. That was one of all of these people having these completely frivolous bids for the presidency, just going, try fucking give it a whack. And then at least the next day she's like, I don't know why I thought I could do this. I think I would make a really good president, but I'm not good at anything. So I guess I'm going to drop out.
But she...
Joanna Donnelly.
Oh, yeah. She was on the radio and she was going like, you know, most people are in the centre, and when you go far right and far left, they eventually meet in the middle. You know, like the horseshoe thing of like, you go far enough to the left, you become far right. Mm-hmm. So like, you know that in Fine Gael, they're just like, oh yeah, when you try to appeal to like the crazy freaks, they're going to turn it. Mm. So like, when they're seeing Paul Murphy trying to appeal to like people's left-wing sensibilities, they're just like, oh, he's playing with fire. You know, the far right are going to come from when they realise. Did you ever see her do the weather?
No.
I don't know. Everyone keeps saying like, oh, she keeps making strange comments when she does the weather, but I have no idea what she says. Okay. I never watched the weather report. That seems an insane thing to watch to me. It's like, oh, it's going to be raining next week.
And then it's like, it didn't rain. Oh, well, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in that one of Agent Cooper from Twin Peaks going,
weatherman said rain. You get paid that kind of money for being wrong 60% of the time and be working.
Yeah. But if anyone knows what sort of zany comment she makes, please
send them in.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of the presidency.
Yes.
Bertie dropped out.
Boo.
Someone else dropped out. So now it's down to Heather Humphreys.
Yeah, sorry. Was it the one that was... It was Mary Lou McDonald who said, oh, I'm not going to run. And I was like, the fact that you even consider that is one of the most insane things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And that people were treating that like entirely normal. And then they're asked, well, okay, so you're going to back Catherine Connolly. Well, now we're still considering our options. I was like, wow.
But she did come out slightly in support of Connolly. She said she was a force. But the thing is, like, the thing that blows my mind is she's like, if we were in any other, like if I was in work and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking of quitting to do another job. And then eventually I'm like, actually, no, I'm just going to keep this one. They'd be like, Well, you're obviously not very committed to this. You know? So now Mary Lou McDonald's like, I think I'm just going to keep being leader of the party. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yesterday you were talking about leaving. So how committed are you? Just seems like a bad move.
To me, it was like whenever they go like, the tabloids are going, well, we're taking bets on who the next James Bond's going to be. Is it going to be Richard Ayoade? He's got 3-1. You're just kind of like, you don't know anything about Bond. So like, or like Doctor Who as well. I probably should have said Doctor Who because I know that more. Where it's like the next Doctor is going to be, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and you're like, no, it's not. Shut up. But anyhow, the point is, somebody was like, yeah, there's talk about Mary Lou throwing her hat in the ring, and I was like, that's so stupid. That's not something that's happening. That's something that you've made up. That's not a real thing. And then she goes, well, I did put a lot of thought into it. Like, what the fuck are you?
Sorry, one second.
No worries.
Hey, Mum.
I'm just making a coffee. I'll be 2 seconds.
Yeah. Why did I say that? I don't know how to vamp. Another show on the 13th of October. If anyone's around. Peer Centre. The other thing. Let's see what Irish Rub said it has to do. Katie Taylor is married. CMAT performs on Jimmy Kimmel Live. There's some pictures of the Ring of Barra. Never been. Maybe I should go now. There's this American guy in the Irish subreddit. One in 5 Irish children is obese or overweight. Here's a good one. Lorcan Sir. The average local authority tenant pays just €77 rent per week. That may have to rise. Why? One thing the Irish subreddit is obsessed with is building sky-high skyscraper buildings to live in. They seem to think that that's the solution to it all. I feel like it not common sense, because what's the other word? Received wisdom from, if you trust the experts, is that what Dublin needs is loads of mid-rise, like 6-story buildings, because it's a medieval city. So like, if you build like a bloody skyscraper, it overloads the road. Just talking about city planning.
Yeah, I heard you. I was hearing you the whole time.
I say you heard. Dublin needs more mid-rise buildings, so like 5 to 6 stories, as opposed to like on the Irish subreddit, they were like, build like 30 stories and have it back out onto like a lane, so that you have 150 people whose entrance and exit is through like a lane. It just doesn't make sense.
They're very literal people, but the other thing is that it's like there's a magazine called like The Currency, and I believe it was started by a number of like Pascal Donoghue's former advisors.
Yeah.
But all of these guys end up getting their talking points from this, and they're like, the problem is planning. The problem is, and then what it is just the same lobbying groups. Their opinions filter down through here, make it to the Irish subreddit, and it was like, and they're treated as if like. Sometimes they're treated like what they are, which is that they're lobbying talking points, but then they're treated like they're the experts, though. As well as them lobbying it, like whatever we need to get the job done.
Yeah. Like what freaks me out is they also adapt their taste. So like, there's a new. I don't think it's a particularly nice building. I don't think it's the worst either. There's a new building in Dublin. It's like a big black tower. It's quite evil looking, you know what I mean? But you can see it. It changed the skyline a bit. I don't know, it doesn't make or break it. But it keeps in posts to the Irish subreddit, and they're like, looks beautiful, just needs a few friends, It's like...
Yeah.
So now you love it. It's not like... A little while ago, you were like, oh, this is what we need. Whereas now it seems like you love it. Or someone posts a picture of some, like, clearly, like, dystopian science fiction film. And they were like, this is what Dublin needs to be.
Yeah,
It's like all these, like, skyscrapers. Yeah.
I think it just comes with the... I think there's that 30% contrarianism which always rears its ugly head,
Yeah.
It's kind of like I have to have the opposite take to you just because I'm smarter than you, so I think about things differently.
Yeah. I don't like the way Cork is laid out. Cork is laid out how Dublin used to be, Oh, higgledy-piggledy.
You know that, like, there's a building on North Main Street, which has been derelict for so long, they've now had to put, like, scaffolding outside of it because bits of it are falling down.
Really?
So you have dereliction at such a degree that the buildings are literally falling down, and I was like, I think whoever owns that building should be in jail. Like, I think they should be... let's say I'm an abolitionist. I don't know whether I am, but I probably am. I'd say I'm more an abolitionist than I am not an abolitionist. But when it comes to people who own property in the middle of a housing crisis and then allow it to fall into such disrepair that it collapses, I'm like, you should be jail in minimum.
Sure.
I'd love to see you flogged publicly. We need to drag it out for as long as possible, but I think it really boils my blood. It's
boils your carrot.
Yeah, boils my Richard carrot. The other thing Mary Lou said, because we were talking about the presidency, just to finish off that one thing, she also said that they basically weren't going to whip. Where was it?
Yes.
Trying to find it from.
The councillors are free to vote how they like, unlike Fine Gael.
Yeah, and the councillors.
That's going to be so crazy.
For Sinn Féin are the most insane people.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, "There's no way McGregor will get on the ballot," and then Mary Lou goes, "Listen, whatever councillors want it." I was like, jeez.
Yeah, like all councillors seem to be insane, but. Sinn Féin have found some real crackers. You know what I mean? Like, I've said a lot, but there's your one from Clare. Do you remember when Varadkar was like, there are no Protestants in Sinn Féin? And then they found one from Clare. And like, since then, she's been in the paper. She was like, I'm homeless because I can't find anywhere that will let my boyfriend smoke weed. Like, that's just such a crazy thing to say.
Yeah. The one that my favorite crank one was the one, I can't remember where he was. I think it was Roscommon, but he during the George Floyd protest, he was like, "Blue lives matter." Like, he's kind of like, protect our guards, and I was like, Sinn Féin saying to protect the fucking cops,
cop killers.
Yeah. But I think, like, do you think that either Mary Lou. This okay? Maybe I'm just. This is such a loaded. I listened to Navarra and they ask like loaded questions like this all the time.
Okay.
So, Aaron, do you think that Mary Lou is inept or just cunning and trying to destroy the left? And you're just like, what sort of question is that? You know, I've already baked the answer that I have. But I think I was like, when you're talking about it, like, will I run for president? No, I won't run for president. Also, I'll leave it up for a free vote. And Catherine Connolly is pretty good, but I know, like, the headbangers who are in the councils, do you know? I'm just saying, it was like, when people go, like, Sinn Féin is a party of the left, and I was like, how much longer is that going to... When you say that Sinn Féin won't be a threat to multinationals and the banks don't have to worry, when you say that... what was it? Like eviction... It wasn't eviction bans. What was the thing that happened in Berlin that Owen O'Brien was asked about and said wouldn't work here? It was like... something like... Let me turn it on. Rent freeze or rent lowering or something like that. Berlin vote.
Wasn't like their version.
Kieran's yelling at us.
Their rent pressure zone system, was it?
It was about like a rent cap, but it was also about like CPOing properties or something like that.
Right.
Compulsory purchase. Berlin has voted to forcibly buy homes from property giants. What happens next? Says the Journal on 27th of September 2021.
So what's the question?
I don't know. Whatever.
Do I think she's insane or do I think she's cunningly trying to destroy the left?
Well, when I say about like Eamon Ryan, people are like, he is so stupid. And I was like, no, he has a very deliberate role and knows exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And is to channel all of that support for the Greens and then disillusion everybody. You know, it's like, I don't think he believes in any Green policies. Like, he took the Swiss grannies to court, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I think with Sinn Féin, like they've always had a history of like adopting whatever ideology gets them the most votes or like the most support. You know what I mean? So I think they were really trying to posture as like center left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, people are starting to think of Fine Gael as the right wing. So why don't we take the center left position? But center left always drifts towards the right, I think. I don't think she's trying to destroy the left. I think it's more just trying to position the party in a way that I don't think is going to actually work, you know?
I just don't understand what she's doing at all. Like, the idea of going in late 2019, you try to ride the wave of Corbynism and Sanders.
Yeah.
And you're on, like, I don't know, Tribune magazine, and you're being interviewed by Grace Blakely, or you were positioned in such a way that people kind of see you as Ireland's like Corbyn, you know?
Yeah.
And you do have some disastrous locals and Euros, but then you make massive gains that puts you as like, you know, for years it was like you were the guys who were, you know, she's a Taoiseach in waiting is what she was referred to. Then the pandemic hits. All of this energy is scattered to the four winds, and then where have they been? Just kind of this cautious. Like, I'm just saying, is that if you won on this thing, you know, like Paul Murphy observed in the past, he was like, the reason that Sinn Féin made the gains that they did was because people saw that they could potentially break the duopoly, and that's why they came out and voted for them. So Sinn Féin, like, by not being Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael is how they get more support and votes, and yet they insist on being more like them.
I know.
For what?
I think they think they can thread a line where, you know, people see them as not. So somehow they'll like be in with the industry, but also not be seen as Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael.
That, yeah, I know, but like the last election, should that not have put that to bed?
The other thing is, I wonder if they get a lot of funding from America, you know.
Mm.
So I wonder, and a lot of training, just like all the other parties. So like, you'd wonder how much that influence is having over them either.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
There was a massive reaction to the Corbyn Sanders wave, you know, where they were like, the right were like, we gotta stamp this shit out now, you know? So maybe that is another part.
Yeah. Maybe that's somebody, I saw this tweet put up and it was like, you know that a coup happened in this country, they're talking about the UK 3 years ago and nobody talks about it. And they were referring to when Liz Truss was like made prime minister and then she did something that pissed off the markets and they're like, no.
Yeah.
Choose again. And then Rishi Sunak runs unopposed and then he becomes the Conservative leader and it's like the banks basically got rid of somebody just because they were like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, that's bad for business. And they were like, but somebody said, we were getting a look at what the Corbyn era would have been like, you know, not like politically, obviously, but like if they have that influence and that ability, like if Corbyn had actually gotten in, it would have been like, no, this isn't happening.
I know.
You must leave.
It's a bit of a job.
So I wonder. No, just I'm wondering if Mary Lou is responding to that, where it's like, I saw what they did to that guy, so I'm not going to do that, you know?
Yeah. I watched that RT documentary about Norway recently.
Oh yeah, I watched a bit of that as well, yeah.
It's good crack.
It is good.
Like, those lads, like, it's so, you know, the received view of Irish Americans is that they don't know it. They don't have a clue. But like, those lads knew their stuff, you know?
I know, yeah, they really did, yeah.
Like, it's just so funny seeing like some lad with a thick New York accent being like saying like fuck the Queen and like, or just like, like even more detailed stuff. Like they really knew what they were. Norway is obviously the fundraising for the Republicans during the Trump. Yeah, I really liked it. Where are those?
Yeah, it was a great documentary. I did some of the kids I saw, it was reminding me, and I'm just saying this because I saw it. I'm not offering an opinion, but it did look like you know when you see like Zionist kids, you know what I mean? Like the kids where it's like they're standing there and they're like stamping on like a Union Jack or like burning King George in effigy or something, you know? And they see it on their faces, they don't understand what's happening at all and they're being indoctrinated into something. But it just reminded me of like when you see that stuff with Gaza in like, Palestine.
When they come to Ireland, it is like their birthright trip. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like, what was also so funny is that, you know, you obviously make the, but the reason why it's not like Zionists is because they're siding with the oppressed. You know what I mean? But there's a funny bit where like whoever is the Lord Mayor of Dublin doesn't like that all these Americans are coming over. And that the American cops are coming over. And he rings up the mayor of New York. Who was like that guy Koch.
Yeah. Ed Koch.
He's like giving out to Koch. And then at the end, Koch is like, I'm not interested. Or like, do you know who you're talking about? Or who you're talking to? I don't care. And it's like, the Americans are just putting it up to the Southern government, aren't they? Like, they're just like, we're here, you don't seem to give a fuck. So, like, we're here, and we're going to support them, whether you like it or not. It's funny.
Yeah. And it was, you know, because they looked at it and they were like, we want the whole island. Do you know what I mean? Whereas there's plenty of people down south who go, hey, this is good enough. And then they just forgot about the north. And it just became this kind of enclave where it's like I don't know, the spare room. We don't go in there. We put all of our bad juju in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of has become like that's why to a lot of people in the South, if they even hear a northern accent, they're terrified, because this is demonstrated by Patrick Keelty becoming the host of the Late Late Show, and them just a lot of people pissing their pants. They're like, they had Kneecap on and they had Michelle O'Neill on. It's becoming the North Show instead. It was like, no, it's the same island, but also both of those people are of like, Kneecap was one of the biggest acts in the world. Michelle O'Neill is First Minister in Northern Ireland,
Yeah.
It's like
Catherine Connolly campaigned in Northern Ireland recently.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Which I don't think any of the rest of them would be doing.
No.
But it's just like, we just don't think about it. It's just this kind of, like in The Simpsons, the Hugo in the attic, he's just up there. Whereas like the Americans, when they were there and they were speaking, it's like, no, until you're free, the whole island isn't free. And it was like, wow, that's a really surprisingly enlightened view for an American.
Yeah. They're such good characters as well.
Yeah.
Just like this New York taxi driver talking about like reunification and the history of republicanism. Oh well.
What do we got? I was going to say.
What was that Mick Clifford article you put in?
I was really surprised. I was like, Mick Clifford talking about Catherine Connolly, here we go. And then actually it turns out he's like, it was actually really good. Let me try and find it. And then he followed it up with like, things are getting so toxic online and it's terrible that Simon Harris is being targeted. This is what's happening. And you're just like, shut the fuck up.
I decided what show I'm going to watch next.
Oh yeah, James watched a show. He watched King of the Hill. And I don't think we talked about the first 3 episodes, but you watched the whole thing. What's your verdict?
Is it a hit or is it a miss? It's probably a hit.
Really?
And that is not a miss.
Okay. I haven't watched it all. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I saw, I didn't like. And then the clips that I ended up seeing where it's like Connie's in like a polyamorous relationship. And I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Well, I think a polyamorous relationship is ultimately shown to be bad for her. So,
yeah.
That's classic Mike Judge. Don't go too crazy. I'm going to watch Alien
I feel
Earth.
like... Oh, yeah, I started watching that. It's actually fucking good. I was surprised. I didn't... 3 reasons I didn't want to watch it. One,
Alien.
I don't... It's like... It's sort of like a prequel series, I believe. And... the spoiler alert, the xenomorph, it's not spoiler because it's in the title, the xenomorph ends up on Earth.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to see like pre-Ripley, do you know? I don't like the prequel idea. All I like is Ripley. I like each individual movie that Ripley is in because I think that they're all unique and brilliant. And then anything that hasn't had Ripley in it has been a mixed bag at best. Although I do have time for Alien Covenant.
And Alien Romulus.
I didn't watch Alien Romulus. I had no interest in that.
It's good.
It just looked kind of... I'd like reboot stuff where it's like, oh, what are some elements? Let's take some of the elements and then just... There they are. There's a fucking Marines. There's an android. There's a whatever. Just trying to get those pleasure centers of the brain firing for Alien.
Boy, were they firing away.
I just was like, it just felt too cynical to me. But like, and then Noah Hawley, I don't know why, because he is actually really good, but he's the one he made Fargo, the TV series, and he also made a show called Legion, which was like an X-Men TV series, which was very good.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I was like, Noah Hawley, bleh. And so I just was put off by the idea of it. But then a friend said, no, I'd give it a watch. It's pretty good, actually. And then I started watching and I was like, fuck, it's actually really good.
Yeah.
It's its own thing. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, you let me know. So yeah, Yeah.
So that's
Great.
next up.
So here's the article with Mick Clifford.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I won't read it all, but I was surprised at his take. Catherine Connolly unfairly targeted for past associations. Why is nobody asking Mary Lou about Gemma O'Doherty or questioning visits of other politicians to Syria? So I don't really need to read the article, but he basically says like Mick Wallace and Claire Daly are not Catherine Connolly, you know?
Yeah.
And then he was like, there was reasons to go on these trips to Syria, and why is she getting a hard time for her association with Gemma O'Doherty when Gemma O'Doherty was like basically part of the establishment for years?
Like, she went to Syria and then everything she said turned out to be true. You know, that sanctions were just going to hurt people, and then the coup was just some Israeli-backed old Al-Qaeda member.
Yeah.
Who's normalizing relationships. Yeah, to me it's just like if you're like, can you believe Micheál Martin met Trump? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It just is so stupid, and the fact that they bring it up over and over. Oh, that was the thing that he said that I was surprised about. Every single time she is interviewed, these three individuals are brought up like exhibits for the prosecution. It's as if the independent presidential candidate went beyond the pale to have ever had anything to do with these people, apparently deemed politically unclean, and must now be forced on every media outing to prostrate herself before the electorate and plead for forgiveness. Mick Clifford. Crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was Paul Murphy running, it'd be a different story.
I do hope she wins. It's not going to change much, but I do. There's no one Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael to win. I really don't want Heather Humphreys to win. Like, even Jim Thingy. I wouldn't
Jim
like
Gavin.
it. Yeah, but it just wouldn't be horrible. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't just imagine Heather Humphreys on there.
I know.
Just be like, oh.
I love that, like, Heather Humphreys, oh yeah, so she's going to probably be the one. And so they're like, all right, well, here's some, like, without it, just effortless, the stories start to come out, like, yeah, here's where she, like, allowed this farmer to continue torturing animals. Here's some other awful thing. Like, the stuff that she did is, the funniest one was Varadkar released it in his book, okay? Yeah. So Varadkar has a whole section in his book. By the way, check out Patreon. Oh, sorry, we're beyond the paywall. So, but there will be a Varadkar episode, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing this. The read along.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think I have to read it. I must know, and I am enjoying it because I do think he's like.
So how do you structure
writing his brain?
You just do a chapter a session, or what is it?
Well, I just was like, started reading it, and then I was like, here, why don't I stream this? And then I was like, I'll just get to page 20, and it turned out very neatly to be at 2 chapters. But if I was to continue that, it would take me 20 hours to finish the book. So, because it was 20 years even. I was just getting so distracted by every little sentence. But I thought that was funny as well. It's basically like Mystery Science Theatering a novel.
I think it's a good one. I think keep doing that.
Yeah, I think I'll keep going. But it was, there's no structure to it. If you just want to know the book and you don't want, I was like, if you don't want to wait until 9/11 for Varadkar's audio version to come out on Audible, then you can get a head start with us. And I can't wait to hear how he says some of these things in the book. You know?
Yeah. Like what?
Well, the part where he says that he likes fire, I'm looking forward to hearing that bit.
Yeah.
I'd always loved fire. Looking at flames in the fireplace, sticking my finger in a candle flame to see how hot it was. And once, as a very small boy, getting into trouble when my friend Paddy and I lit a fire in his garden shed.
That's the end of the free bit. For the full episode, go to patreon.com/CelticLigers, where they talk about Heather Humphreys' mention in Leo Varadkar's book and other reasons why she's a terrible candidate. Graham Linehan's trial and the insane things he says. Oh boy. Flags in the UK and the successful attempt to import that discourse into Ireland. Kieran Cuddihy owns Nick Delahantey for not knowing enough about flags. Peter Mandelson's entries to Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book. That's all I can remember.